Sonic X Comic Issue 8. We start out in Paris, where Big the Cat warns Froggy to not eat another shiny stone because he doesn't want him to grow a tail again. I like that, its characters reacting realistically to the events that happened earlier and naturally learning from the old mistakes. It sounds like faint praise that should always be expected of something, but you'd be surprised how often this doesn't happen. Why's Big in Paris exactly? The heroes are all gathered at a party in Paris to celebrate the unveiling of some new technology of Chris's CEO father, and Rouge and Topaz are at the party too, and still being stalked by Emerald. Meanwhile, Bocon gets a sugar rush because he's eaten a lot of sweets, because a robot can eat and get a sugar rush. Eggman's serving ice cream in a disguise. At least the disguise working for him makes sense because he's a human, and there's tons of humans out there where he is. Westwood is told that he missed out on a mission to Paris because Sonic ditched him and he couldn't be reached by radio. Is this before cell phones? It has to be. They have chaos energy detectors, but not cell phones. After he's told that if he fails the president again, he'll lose his job, he wants revenge on Sonic and Rouge. Chris is told that he and the heroes are going to be the first passengers of a space shuttle. Really? Shouldn't it be astronauts who go through space training? Why test this out on them? Eggman's pretty clever because he plans to steal the space shuttle for himself, and the egg carrier can't fly in space, so he needs the space shuttle for his plans for the moon. And the robot's modifications to the rides are going to make a distraction for people while the shuttle gets stolen. Why is nobody immediately recognizing these robots? Plus, they're right next to someone who resembles Eggman. Even Big the Cat and Froggy recognize Eggman, and yet nobody else does. I guess Big's a telepath too, since he somehow understands a language that's nothing but frog noises. Rouge is told she can't fly because it'll blow her cover. Oh well, I guess because everyone would be able to see her from any direction if she's flying up in the air. Westwood tells Topaz to return to Washington, lying that their intel was wrong so she can get into trouble, and Rouge decides to ignore the order, naturally since she's a jewel thief who's only working for Gunn because they gave her immunity to being prosecuted for stealing jewels as she did, and they forced her into it. She even comes up with a clever plan that they can blame her for getting distracted by the jewels in the World exhibit, and since she's a criminal, she's used to trouble and doesn't mind getting into it. Emerald finally lampshades that he might have made a mistake by following them because they haven't led him to his answers. How has he not been seen by anyone? This is a pretty large crowd of people. We get a bunch of padding where they take forever to introduce the space shuttle, and Amy is made a mockery of, and Big naturally wonders if he could use the space shuttle to get home to his world. Eggman presses a button to activate an elephant robot to threaten everyone, and of course Tails gives Sonic a ring. The heroes rush at the fairground distractions while Big still focuses on Eggman. I hope he'll be useful. Tails uses his flight to save a kid from falling from a giant landmark, and Amy uses a hammer to save some more civilians from an elephant robot. I think Emerald saves someone too because he thinks she may be able to help him somehow. And Chris just barely avoids getting killed when he tries to protect the dog from a falling heavy object, and Tanaka helps him. Big sneaks up on Eggman saying he's not being nice and uses a fishing rod to grab the back of his shirt and punches him. That's pretty cool. His stupidity and naivety is being used as he's the unexpected character who doesn't think like everyone else, and so he serves as a Chekhov's gunman. Chris continues to have my sympathy because he's trying to save a dog even though he's risking his life for it, and Sonic has to bail him out and incapacitate the robot. Then Eggman reveals himself being chased by Big while humorously complaining about his nose being in pain, and the heroes chase him into the Hall of Mirrors. Emerald does too, and he just assumes that Eggman's his master despite not knowing that Eggman builds robots. It's pretty tragic. Emerald's only going down this path because he couldn't just communicate to the heroes without risking his life. Of course, the mirrors cause confusion because no one can tell what's real and what's a mirror for some reason, even though the art makes it blatantly obvious. And Emerald ends the story by planning to fight Sonic and waste our time with a poor communication skills story. I hope it won't be literal. This story was by Joe Edkin. It was about Eggman trying to steal a space shuttle while using some giant robots as a distraction, and Big the Cat ends up chasing him down, but he gets away because of the Hall of Mirrors. So while Big did have a moment of awesome, it ended up not saving the day because the issue ended on a cliffhanger. Emerald starts to assume Eggman is his master with no evidence and plans on fighting Sonic, all because he never asked anyone who he was. He never wrote anything down or anything. I like that Rouge had a good character moment by refusing to obey Westwood's order in case Eggman's still here. I think I might like her best in this continuity. And Chris had a good character moment because he wants to protect the dog, even though it could get him killed.